Let's jump right into this explainer. If you're a parent in Pennsylvania trying to navigate the vast and, let's be honest, sometimes completely overwhelming world of online public schools, well, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're demystifying PA cyber charter schools. We're going to break the whole thing down together so you have the actual facts you need to make the best decision for your family. There's a quote that really hits the nail on the head here. It says, online public school has become a practical option for many Pennsylvania families who want a flexible learning environment without leaving the public school system. And that is so true. It completely validates this massive, modern shift we're seeing in education. A child's learning doesn't just happen at traditional wooden desks anymore. For so many kids, the classroom has shifted to the kitchen table, the home office, or honestly, wherever the family happens to be traveling. So, here is our roadmap for today. We're going to systematically evaluate the landscape across 5 key areas. First, what are cyber charters? Second, how online learning works. Third, the benefits and drawbacks. Fourth, crucial questions for PA parents. And finally, finding the right fit. Okay, let's dive into Section 1. What are cyber charters? Understanding the basics. So what exactly is a cyber charter school? Well, in Pennsylvania, it's a publicly funded, tuition-free public school that delivers instruction primarily online. It's kind of fascinating when you think about it, because while the physical classroom might literally be your living room couch, these are real, strictly regulated public schools. We're not talking about informal homeschooling co-ops here. No, they are tied to the exact same standardized state requirements and academic standards as the traditional brick-and-mortar school right down your street. Right, so who can actually attend? You might be surprised to learn that the system is incredibly inclusive. It's open to PA residents who meet the enrollment rules, students with disabilities, English learners, and kids who just need some extra academic support. But here's a crucial takeaway for families. While the virtual doors are wide open, you absolutely must ask how specific special education services, counseling, or interventions are actually translated to the online setting. The delivery is obviously going to look a bit different than a traditional school, so you need to know exactly how your child's specific needs are going to be met. Moving right along to Section 2, how online learning works, daily virtual schedules. Let's picture a typical day for your child. It usually flows through a blend of these 4 steps. Step 1 involves live online classes with certified teachers. Then, Step 2 moves into independent assignments, where students tackle recorded lessons or digital coursework on their own time. Step 3 features direct teacher check-ins for that individualized support. And Step 4? Those are the optional, and sometimes required, in-person events. This mix is absolutely vital. It really shows how live instruction blends with independent work, and how things like field trips or social clubs step in to build real connections and prevent that isolation that can sometimes come with remote learning. Now, there is a really important caveat here. Learning at home still means meeting strict attendance, participation, and academic progress requirements. The big takeaway? Flexibility in your child's schedule absolutely does not mean a lack of accountability to the state. Your kid still has to log in, participate actively, and prove they're mastering the material every single day. All right, Section 3, benefits and drawbacks, evaluating the options. Let's look at both sides of the coin here. On one hand, you've got flexibility and a calm environment. For students dealing with bullying, social stress, or intense school anxiety, this virtual setup, it's like a safe haven. It's also fantastic for advanced pacing if you've got a gifted learner, or for accommodating intense athletic or medical schedules. But flip it over and you've got the need for face-to-face interaction. We have to be real here. Online learning can be genuinely tough for kids who thrive on immediate social energy, hands-on learning, or instant physical feedback from a traditional classroom. And there's a really fascinating core trade-off on this next point. Yes, you can learn from anywhere, meaning as long as you have a stable internet connection, geographical and transportation barriers completely vanish. That is a huge win, especially for rural families. But the catch? It requires high adult supervision. Younger students in particular absolutely need a highly involved parent or caregiver right nearby to log them in, keep them focused, and ensure those assignments are actually getting submitted. If all the adults in your household work outside the home, this is going to be a very real logistical challenge. Which brings us to Section 4, questions for PIPA parents, what you need to ask. When you're evaluating these schools, you've got to look at logistics, academics, and technology. You need to ask the tough questions. What grades are offered? How exactly are the live classes structured? Who is paying for the internet and providing the computer equipment? Are there mandatory in-person testing days? Gathering these nitty-gritty details matters immensely for your family's daily life. You shouldn't just get sold on the promise of convenience. You need to understand the nuts and bolts. For example, if there is mandatory state testing, where exactly do you have to drive to take it? And if you've got older students, there are specific high school considerations you simply cannot ignore. You've got to verify their college prep classes, career and technical pathways, dual enrollment opportunities, and credit recovery options. Listen, these specific course selections are going to directly impact a teenager's long-term academic trajectory and career plan. You want to make sure their high school experience carries the exact weight and provides the exact opportunities they need for future success. Finally, Section 5, Finding the Right Fit, Making Your Choice. So, what makes an online student actually thrive? We found that the true markers of success are consistent daily routines, incredibly strong family support, a school that has clear, transparent communication, and most importantly, a program that aligns perfectly with the student's unique learning style. The right choice depends entirely on the child, not just the format. Success in a cyber charter school is a true partnership. It relies heavily on building a solid bridge between a dedicated home environment and a well-organized, responsive school. Which leads us to this final, provocative question. Is your home their next classroom? Online public schools in Pennsylvania offer an incredible, legitimate path for the right family. Take a moment to honestly reflect on the level of support your child needs, your family's daily schedule, and the exact environment where they learn best. Armed with the right questions and a clear understanding of the landscape we covered in today's explainer, you can confidently take your next steps. Thanks so much for joining me, and happy learning.